11. Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at Anfield has just got underway. It's Liverpool taking on Fulham, and it's a big task this afternoon for Fulham. You would imagine Liverpool have been excellent at home, barring that one blip with that defeat at home to Nottingham Forest. But generally speaking, it has been an excellent start to Arne Slot's time at Anfield. That said, Fulham have had a good start to the season themselves. Just the one defeat in their last 5 games. That was a very surprising reverse, 4-1 at home to struggling Wolves. But traditionally, Fulham like to come to Anfield and have a go, so hopefully it should be a good game this afternoon. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Warren Ashurst taking the action. Warren, we can see straight away Liverpool trying to press and get at Fulham because they know that Fulham are a team that can get the ball down and cause problems.
Yeah, Andy Robertson's just got a bit of a whack on his knee there as he tried to latch onto possession on the edge of the penalty area. But yeah, I mean, I've seen Fulham 2 or 3 times this season, Paul, and they've impressed me every time I've seen them. The last time was when they won at Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago, and really should have won by more at the time, as we just see Diop, who came across to try and intercept the ball to Robertson, and he got a touch of the ball, but he also caught Robertson with his studs. So it's one of those where it's a painful one, but you would think it's not necessarily a twist or a turn or anything, it's just a whack on the knee, that Robertson probably will be all right to continue, but he needs a little bit of treatment first. Diop, we mentioned there, he's come into the side today, of course, because Calvin Bassey is suspended. Joachim Andersen is out with an injury at the moment as well, so Suenka and Diop are the 2 centre-backs for Fulham. Interesting to see how they deal with this Liverpool forward line. It's looking a little bit different today, bearing in mind Darwin Núñez has been dropped to the bench. Cody Gakpo, we feel, will be playing through the middle with Luis Diaz on one side and Mo Salah on the other. I think it's guaranteed that we'll see Marco Silva up on the technical area 2 or 3 times at least, complaining today to the 4 officials. He's having something to say at the moment, Paul.
He is, yeah. I mean, both. Look for a second there. Arne Slot was talking to the linesman about what had just happened with that collision between Diop and Robertson. And for some reason, Marco Silva is very upset. I mean, Diop hasn't been booked for this, and I don't think there's any suggestion of a VAR check. But I take it back. He has been booked.
Yeah.
It is a yellow card for Issa Diop. I mean, considering that the foul actually happened less than a minute into the game, he might count himself unlucky, but he has caught. We'll see what the replay here is. It's flicked on by Gakpo, and the ball is there to be won. I don't think he actually gets the ball first.
He doesn't get the ball, no. He gets it after, doesn't he? He catches Robertson. Robertson's still down at the moment. He's got a yellow card, Diop, but I think the free kick is going to go Fulham's way because the flag had already gone up on the far side.
Oh, well, that's what we were thinking now, weren't we? As the game was just starting, Liverpool were trying to press early. The free kick looked like it had been given for that. Robertson's now coming off the field. Hopefully he should be okay to play on. But if not, they do have a couple of defensive options. Potentially they could bring Kwanzaa on and get potentially ask Gomez to play on that left-hand side at a push, but it's not the ideal solution. They prefer to have a natural left footer on that side. It is a free kick to Fulham now, taken short here from Leno, rolling it out towards Diop. He's got to be very careful now on that yellow card so early on in this game. He then tries a long diagonal ball over towards the left-hand side, taken down by Robertson, and Robinson tries to feed that one through towards Iwobi. It's quickly cleared here by Joe Gomez. Back into midfield. Fulham now in possession with Berger. Then it's an early ball into the box from the left-hand side. Alisson makes the catch. Well, I was going to say that Kelleher's not done a lot wrong. He did actually make a glaring error in that 3-3 draw away at Newcastle. But is Kelleher unlucky to sort of just be out the team as soon as Alisson's fit, or is that just a sign that Alisson is the first-choice keeper?
I think he's a bit unlucky, to be honest, Paul, because I think you play as well as you do for such a long period of time when Alisson's out. But I think you probably ask anybody at Liverpool, and probably Kelleher included, that they're aware that Alisson's the first choice keeper and that potentially he was always going to come back in as soon as he was fit. But I think that probably that mistake at Newcastle just swayed it in his favour, bearing in mind that it was a mistake that cost Liverpool the 3 points in the end. But nice predicament for Arne Slot to have.
It certainly is. I mean, it's always a very difficult thing, really, rotating goalkeepers. We know Manchester City are trying anything at the moment to get a bit of form, and they're rotating their keepers sometimes for no reason. It might just be a case of which of them is better on the ball as well. But Fulham now seeing a bit more of the ball, and it's a long ball from Tete down the right-hand side. Gets all the way to the edge of the area. Harry Wilson, of course, with his Liverpool past, trying to make an impression here this afternoon, but he can't quite get on the end of that one. And it's easily back into the arms of Alisson. And Robertson is back on the field as well, which is certainly good news for Liverpool. It didn't look good at first, did it, when he went down?
No, didn't he? He looked to be in some pain. As I say, more of a kick than a twist, which is always a bonus, I think, for a player. Just interesting to see that Harry Wilson's got the nod today. I mean, he's been impressive when coming on as a sub in recent weeks for Fulham, but Gets the nod ahead of Emil Smith-Rowe, who was really impressive at Crystal Palace in that game that I mentioned before, but Wilson will be looking to try and put one over on his former club today.
Absolutely. Well, the last time I commentated on Fulham was when Wilson came off the bench and scored twice in the last few minutes for Fulham to beat Brentford in a local derby. And as you say, he has done most of his good work on the bench. That's another difficulty, I think, for managers when you have got a super sub like that. We see it with John Duran at Villa as well, where you want him to do the same thing when he starts, but they just can't quite reproduce that form.
No, and it's difficult when you haven't had much game time as well to kind of come into a starting lineup as Liverpool burst forward through the middle here.
They do. Diaz may be offside. He is offside just as he tries to turn. It was another potential foul on it there. He was trying to turn away from Lukic, but the flag had already gone up, and it will be a free kick, yes. So Wilson, as you mentioned, gets the start up ahead of Smith-Rowe. Not really the same sort of player, though, are they? Smith-Rowe, more sort of comfortable number 10. We're just seeing a replay of that. I think Diaz might be quite unlucky with that offside.
I think he was unlucky. I think Diop was playing him on there, Paul, to be honest. Just one thing to note, by the way, is Trent Alexander-Arnold should mop up for the back at Liverpool and does. But just to note that it looks like it's Diaz playing through the middle and Gakpo starting down the left. Yeah,
and that's exactly where the ball has gone now for Liverpool, down the left towards Gakpo. His ball into the box, and it's an attempted overhead kick there from Diaz, which goes wide. I think there was a little suggestion there from the Fulham players that maybe Diaz shouldn't be doing an overhead kick there in that position. Has he got the final touch there? We'll see from the replay here. It's a long ball out from Liverpool from the right-hand side, then it's Gakpo into the box.
Yeah, good bit of play from Gakpo, cut back on his right foot, flung it in there. It looks like Suenka was the man who was challenging Luis Diaz. It was just behind Diaz, so he tried an overhead kick, and he has caught the centre-back in the side of the head. The referee straight away, who, by the way, referees Tony Harrington today, kind of a thumbs up both him and Luis Diaz, because he said straight away there was no wrongdoing in terms of the Liverpool man, and now he's booked him.
He has booked him, so maybe that thumbs up from the referee was saying, yeah, it's only going to be a yellow for you, but that was never really a red from Diaz anyway. It's an overhead kick. He's got a right to go for it, but it's always that second thought. You have to be aware of where your opponents are, and he does catch Cuenca there. Fulham now back in possession on the halfway line here with Sasa Lukic. So now to Kenny Tete. We can see playing a very high line here. Fulham are only just in possession inside their own half, but Liverpool already pressing towards the halfway line, but Fulham are playing a loose ball into their own penalty area. Curtis Jones charging in, and it's a last-ditch challenge there from Issa Diop. But for all that early energy from Fulham, if they're going to do passes like that towards their own goalkeeper, it's Wilson, isn't it, on the right-hand side? That was very short.
Well, as well, Leno had come for it and then decided to backtrack. I mean, in fairness, it was probably a good call to do that because he was never going to get there. A really good defending from Diop, who got in before Curtis Jones could get his shot away. It looks like it might well have been a double deflection, and it's gone out for a goal kick.
Oh, it's even better work from Diop in that case than superb, because it looked like Fulham were in real trouble there. But Tete now playing a ball down the right-hand side over the halfway line, flicked on by Jimenez, and then it's played forward here by Wilson, and he's got a bit of space, but he needs some support now. He goes down the right-hand side, plays the ball into the box. It was probably the right option, but just a little bit too quick there, and Alisson is out. But that's just a sign of how quickly Fulham can get on the front foot.
Really good play. Tete ball down the line, great flick from Jimenez into the path of Wilson, who got away from Gomez on that right-hand channel. Lovely little ball, as you say. It looked like the reverse pass was probably the best option for him there, Paul. But Alisson, again, what we said earlier on about him being the first choice, that's the sort of thing that he does. He sort of, he anticipates where the ball might be, and we've now got a third yellow card within the first 9 minutes.
Yeah, and it's Andreas Pereira, who I'm not even sure if he's had a touch for Fulham on the ball yet, but now he's managed to get into the referee's book. I mean, it's a nasty little one, though. I mean, we, on the one hand, you could say the referees handed out 3 yellow cards inside the first 9 minutes, but I mean, the Diaz one's a little bit unlucky because he's going for an overhead kick. The Diop one, I think, is a fair one, and looking at that replay, I think Pereira probably deserves it as well.
Do you know what? I have a little bit of sympathy for Diop, because I thought he tried to get the ball and it was just mistimed. That is not a good tackle from Pereira, who apparently misses the next match, by the way, for a suspension for 5 yellow cards, but he's nowhere near the ball. He's never going to get there. Clearly decided that trying to catch Gravenberch was the best option. Now, there's ways of doing it, and that was studged down the back of the Achilles. It could have been a nasty one.
I think if he does that from a slightly bigger height, I think the VAR could have been looking at that one because of the way he does tread down. And we mentioned that he's going to be suspended for the next game. That is Fulham against Southampton next Sunday. So if you're going to have Pereira missing, maybe at home to Southampton, without being disrespectful to the Saints, it's probably a game that you wouldn't mind too much. But Fulham having some work to do here now to get the ball away from their own penalty area. In fairness, we've had 10 minutes on the clock now. Liverpool not really getting into their stride yet.
No, it's been a bit frenetic really from both sides, hasn't it? The ball bouncing around like a hot potato at the minute. Nobody really able to get their foot on the ball. 10 minutes has flown by as well. What I would say is, obviously, we've had these 3 yellow cards in the space of the opening 10 minutes. You're going to have to be careful. I mean, especially you would say somebody like Diop at a centre-back up against the pace of Liverpool's front line, but also I'd say Diaz as well.
Yeah, I mean, Diaz is someone who could sometimes just get a little bit carried away. If a player goes into him, maybe he might want to try and bite back. But Fulham on the attack now. Iwobi holds it up and finds Robinson. Robinson's ball across. It's into the penalty area and it's into the back of the net. It looked to me as though that ball wasn't going to get through to Pereira, but he does get a touch on it and he beats Alisson at his far post. And 11 minutes on the clock. Fulham are 1-0 up, but Liverpool can't say that there haven't been any warnings. I'm not saying that the goal was imminent, but at the same time, Fulham were showing some attacking signs right from the start.
Yeah, and it's a really well-worked goal as well for Fulham. We did say that we'd come here. Paul mentioned them being on the front foot, as they often are when they go to Anfield, and that's the case again. The ball was given away cheaply, but really in a harmless position. All of a sudden, Wilson spread the play over to Iwobi on the left-hand side. Iwobi had an overlap from Robinson, played him in nicely, and Robinson played a lovely ball to the back post. It was still a lot to do for Pereira. He does well to get there, but I can't help but think that it's hit Robinson on the way, and that's looped it up over Alisson.
It has. I just wondered if the dubious goal panel might even consider this an own goal, because the touch from Pereira is definitely going on target, but it's heading straight to Alisson's chest, really, isn't it? It's only when it gets just in front of him towards Andy Robertson, it flares off his thigh and over the arms of the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. It's an unfortunate one for Liverpool, but really the problems for Liverpool started in the way they gave the ball away and the fact that Iwobi and then Robinson had all that space on the Fulham left.
Yeah, there was plenty of room and they moved it really quickly. Pereira, who's only just been yellow carded, getting on the score sheet, and it may well have been his first touch of the ball as well, because we mentioned he hadn't seen much of it, but if there's an early wake-up call for Liverpool, that was going to be it. And they now find themselves behind at home once again and needing to come and try and get a quick response.
And they are trying to get a quick response down the right straight away. Mo Salah, that's a player we've hardly mentioned in this game. I don't think he's had a touch either in the first 12 minutes. Ball down the right-hand side towards him, played back to Alexander-Arnold. And it's now on the halfway line here with Gomez. Robinson finds some space down the right here, and the left, I should say, for Gakpo. Gakpo back into Robertson. Options for a cross. Gakpo stayed on that left-hand side. He's got Tete in front of him. One Dutchman blocking another, and the cross comes in from Gakpo. It is charged down by Tete, and back supporting at the edge of his own area here is Wilson. One straight into Robertson, and it's out for a throw. But this is where Liverpool really do need to step up, because Fulham are a team that can hold on to a lead.
Yeah, they are. And, we shouldn't be too surprised to see Fulham in front when you consider what they've done this season. Drawn with Arsenal, of course, last week. They caused Manchester City no end of problems. They lost that game 3-2 at the Etihad, and they probably should have even won it, let alone lose it. So they created a number of chances there as well. They drew at Tottenham with 10 men a couple of weeks ago, and a Tottenham fan said to me it was the best team they'd seen there this season. So it does show you that they are capable on the day of beating anybody.
They are, and they've got a fearless streak in them for sure as they win the ball back here in midfield. It was a strong challenge there from, it's going to be a free kick here against Sander Berge. I think he was trying to say that he maybe got the ball. We'll have a look here as Gakpo gets away from Tete, gets away from Lukic. And as Berger slides in, he doesn't get the ball.
No, I thought he had it at first as well. Liverpool took it quickly, and they've overhit the pass, and Salah couldn't keep it in. It'll go behind for a goal kick. Yeah, I mean, to the naked eye, that looked like he got it, because the ball had gone in another direction. It looked like he got a toe to it, but you see the replay, and that's why the referee gives the decisions, because he's right in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely, yeah. That change of direction of the ball was actually after Gakpo had been felled, and he just moved the ball himself. So certainly the right decision. As you mentioned there, Liverpool didn't use that free kick particularly well. Fulham now take a short goal kick before it's cleared long anyway by Leno up towards the halfway line, taken down by Jimenez. Then it's Pereira back towards Lukic on the left-hand side. Liverpool trying to play a high offside line now after they were caught out a few moments earlier. It's back on the halfway line though. See Lukic trying to find some space down the left for Robinson. Berger now under pressure to go back towards his own goal. Bit of pressing here from Szoboszlai now, getting the start today, who's had a sort of funny season really, Szoboszlai. At one stage it looked as though, I'll come back to that in a second, because Fulham just give the ball away in front of their own penalty area. Chance here now for Liverpool. It's back with Alexander-Arnold. Now Szczerbakowicz, a challenge coming in from the left, and Fulham to get the ball back. Before it's cleared long by Robinson, and Jimenez will chase that, but it should easily be dealt with between Gomez and Alisson. Alisson's ball out. Well, it's just about going to reach Alexander-Arnold. He was being closed down by Iwobi, and then Alexander-Arnold just clears it into the Fulham half. I was going to say about Szczerbakowicz that it seemed at the start of the season he was very much one of Slot's players that he was going to get regular starts.
Yeah.
Then McAllister gets back into the team, and now he's sort of been in and out recently.
Yeah, I don't think he's been at the peak of his form. I think a few Liverpool fans will watch him play for Hungary, and he's banged in goal after goal for his country.
One goal,
yeah, exactly, and then you kind of think, oh, he's not really chipping in with much in terms of goals for Liverpool, and maybe not having the impact that some would have hoped. But you know, some players have that sort of dip during a time in the Premier League, and maybe that's what he's had at the moment. Big afternoon, I think, for him today, Dominic Szoboszlai, to kind of stamp his authority on this game. But it's Fulham in the ascendancy at the moment.
Yeah, Liverpool can't really get close to a Fulham's goal since that Fulham opener. There's a long ball played, and Robinson's in trouble. Yeah, there's going to be an advantage played. Is there? Jimenez chips it over. I think the referee's going to bring this one back, and I think that Andy Robertson is going to get a yellow card at the very least. I think that's it's probably going to be... no, it's a straight red. I did fear that it could be a straight red, and it's turning into a nightmare afternoon here for Andy Robertson. He was caught inside the first minute, looked like he might be going off injured. He stays on. It was his loose ball that started the Fulham move, which led to the Liverpool goal, which led to the Fulham goal, I beg your pardon. And now there's a foul at the edge of the area as Fulham were breaking through. Robertson's off, and I don't think that VAR's going to save him here.
No, I don't think it will. I mean, my initial reaction was, did he get a slight toe on the ball as it came through? It was a shocking touch to start off with. Ball over the top. Harry Wilson looks like he's just been played onside by Virgil van Dijk. He's got to deal with it. Should have dealt with it with his right foot. Went with his left foot. Miscontrolled it. And Harry Wilson got brought down in the process as he tried to win the ball back. Let's just watch a close-up replay again here. VAR will undoubtedly be looking at it at the moment. It's very hard from that close-up to tell whether he did get a touch. This might be a better angle. He puts his foot out. No, he doesn't. Nowhere near it. And I don't think he can have any complaints.
It's actually quite a clever touch from Wilson. He could probably sense that Robinson's going to go through him in a second, so he thinks if I just get a touch on this, then there's no way that the Liverpool left-back's going to get a touch, and I can't see how VAR... The only saviour is going to be if there is an offside at the start of it, which I don't think there is.
No, I don't think so. I think he's onside. I think this will stand, this red card. And Liverpool have it all to do. It's been a horrible first 17 minutes for Arne Slot's men. I can tell you, by the way, that Ipswich, meanwhile, have scored at Wolves. So Wolves 0, Ipswich 1. It could be signalling the end for Gary O'Neill in terms of his time in charge at Molineux. But
yeah, he's had a very tough season. They've had a very tough season, Wolves. It's Matt Doherty with the own goal there, putting Ipswich in front. And it could be a big, big win for Ipswich as well if they can hold on to that scoreline. Still goalless between Arsenal and Everton and Newcastle and Leicester. Those games, all those other games are available on our service, as is the Nottingham Forest Villa game, which is the 5:30 kickoff. I think we're just waiting for VAR to confirm that Tony Harrison's got it right, because the red card has been given.
They must be drawing the lines, I think, at the moment.
Yeah,
what I would say as well, though, Paul, is that Diop got a yellow card on Robinson despite the fact that it was offside. So you kind of think, should that yellow card be rescinded because it was offside in the case? But they can't do that, I don't think, is it? Because it wouldn't have been VAR looking at it.
No, that's the issue, I think, as well, isn't it? I suppose, arguably, if the whistle's gone, he's still gone through the man. I mean, they're checking the offside. That's all they can check, really. There's no way that the decision on Robertson is incorrect. I think he deserves the red card once the referee's decided that he's the last man and he's stopping Fulham from having a goal.
Why it's taking so long against?
I don't. I mean, as I say, I have to sometimes stop myself in these commentaries from ranting, because it's perplexing why it does take so long. Why can't they just draw the line straight away?
You can tell he's onside.
You can
from
as well. You absolutely
can.
So it shouldn't really be taking this long. And as I say, all this talk in the off-season about how we're going to get semi-automatic offsides. Well,
and we still haven't.
We haven't, though, have we? It seems like you do confirm now that he is onside. It's actually, with a little bit of margin as well. But you see those UEFA and FIFA offsides with the whole body shape and a graphic, and you think, why does it still take a VAR official to try and... It's almost like they're trying to learn how to draw those lines every week. But as they're ranting over, it's confirmed that it is a red card. There'll be no VAR saviour here for Robinson and for Liverpool. So it's coming up to 20 minutes gone, and Liverpool are a goal down, and they're a man down as well. It's a real test for them now.
Well, I think Arne Slot's probably sitting there thinking, what on earth is going on here? Because it's all gone horribly wrong, as I say, in the space of the opening 16, 17 minutes. Andy Robertson walks down the tunnel. I am assuming that Liverpool will probably try and play with a back three and maybe try and play with one of the front three a little bit further back into the kind of midfield. After all that as well, Fulham have got themselves a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. I say the edge of the penalty area, it's probably about 10 yards or so outside of the edge of the box, so we're looking at kind of between 25 and 30 yards out. Pereira, the goal scorer, is one man stood over it. Harry Wilson is the other. I think Raul Jimenez needs to move himself out of the way at the moment because they could do with him in and around the area.
Absolutely, they need that poacher to try and get a rebound, because it looks to me like whether it's the Welshman Wilson or the Brazilian Pereira, one of these two is going to be going for goal here. It's absolutely inviting a left-footed strike, you would imagine, with it being slightly over on the right-hand side. So a curling effort from Wilson seems to be the order of the day. We'll see if that's what's going to happen. Referee has marked where the walls need to be. The whistle has gone. It is Wilson over the wall and over the bar. He went on that same side where Alisson was stood. So he was trying to sort of second guess where the goalkeeper was going to position himself, but the effort is over the bar.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad strike from Harry Wilson. It was dipping as well, but just not in time. Flew over the top of the crossbar, and Alisson flung himself to the right-hand side. So we'll get an idea now, once we get back into open play, how Liverpool are going to play it. Arne Slot's trying to get some instructions over there now as to what they're going to do now. They're down to 10 men, but certainly no substitution for the time being. It's as you were.
No, and just to say, it's Nioni, Kwanzaa, Nunez, Elliott, Chiesa, Diogo Jota, Morton, Endo, and goalkeeper Kelleher. Those are the substitutes that Arne Slot has to choose from. But Liverpool took the goal kick long. They've lost the ball in midfield, and Fulham are straight on the attack down the right-hand side. Wilson towards the edge of the area. Pereira then goes for goal. He gets a big deflection. Meanwhile, Iwobi is screaming on the left-hand side. He was completely, he had his own postcode to himself there, Iwobi, and really Pereira should have passed it to him.
Yeah, that's poor from Andreas Pereira, because he was in a really good position. Alex Iwobi made a great run to the back post, and Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't know he was there, I don't think. He also had Robinson for support as well. Straight away turned round and apologised to Iwobi, but Fulham do have another corner.
They do have another corner. Just lip-reading Pereira, I thought he might have said the word offside there. I think he might have feared that his teammate might have strayed a little bit, but it certainly, from what we saw, it didn't look like Iwobi was in an offside position. Corner kick to Fulham then. This a very good start now for the West Londoners is continuing. It's a short ball here from Pereira to Wilson. Wilson, the left footer on the right, goes back to Pereira. He then tries a low ball into the box, which is charged down by Alexander-Arnold. It's then flicked towards Wilson. That's a complete mess of a set piece there from the visitors. Robinson trying to help out, but you can see Marco Silva pacing in his technical area. That's not what he discussed in training, for sure.
No, definitely not, but he must be happy with how things have gone in the opening stages of this match, because we said earlier that Fulham are dangerous. They're certainly capable of causing teams problems, and even before that sending off, they'd looked, they scored, of course, and looked lively as well, and Liverpool have it all to do now, and it seems daft with almost 23 minutes played to say that Arne Slot would take 1-0 down at half-time and start again, but I think he genuinely would.
I think he would. I think he absolutely would, because right now we've not really... Well, Leonard's not had a save to make in this game, has he? He's barely even had a cross to deal with, and we'll see how that plays out towards the end of this half. We are just over the halfway mark now. It is Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. Liverpool down to 10 men. It will be Warren to take us through to half-time.
Thanks, Paul. It's been a dramatic game so far. I'm sure we've got plenty more drama still to come as Gakpo goes back to Szoboszlai on the halfway line. Now on to Van Dijk as Liverpool keep possession at the back. Gravenberch has it short. It goes to Alexander-Arnold. And they'll be forced back by Raul Jimenez to go all the way back to Alisson and build again from there. Just the 2 goals in the Premier League so far, including one here in our featured game as Fulham lead by 1-0 at Anfield. It's almost like Gravenberch has dropped into a centre-back position alongside Van Dijk at the moment, with Gomez coming out to the left-hand side. So Liverpool still want to maintain a back 4 with only Jimenez really up front. It seems like a bit of a strange decision from Arne Slot to do that, but he obviously doesn't want to give anything else away.
No, I think he wants to maintain the shape. I do wonder how much you get from Gomez playing on that left in terms of Liverpool attacking. We'll wait and see how that plays out, but they are trying to push forward now here with Gakpo. Yeah,
Gakpo cuts in field on his right foot, finds Szoboszlai, back down the left-hand side now, and Diaz. He's only got Salah ahead of him at the moment. Cuts back on his right foot, does Luis Diaz, and leaves it short for Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai again, just happy to keep possession for the moment, and found Van Dijk. Van Dijk midway inside the Fulham half, finds Gakpo. Gakpo tried to turn away from 2 Fulham players. He eventually does well to maintain possession and then tries to play a 1-2 with Van Dijk. Gakpo gets towards the byline, tried to go past Sander Berg, but it was good work from the Fulham midfielder, who just sees the ball over the line for a Fulham goal kick.
Yeah, at the moment Liverpool can't do anything to surprise Fulham. It was a fairly even start with Liverpool trying to set the pace as the home side, but you've got to say that a combination of the early goal for Fulham and then just perhaps a lack of sort of direction for Liverpool in the first minutes after Fulham scored, it just seems like it's been an easy half for Fulham, which you wouldn't have expected anyone to have an easy half when they come to Anfield these days.
No, what we've had entertainment-wise, I'd say a goal and a sending off, you'd probably expect more than 25 minutes on the clock, and we're going to have at least 3 or 4 minutes of added on time just for that VAR check for the Robertson sending off. Here come Fulham meanwhile, as Lukic bursts forward and plays it out wide to Iwobi on that left-hand side. Iwobi plays the ball over the top. Jimenez is onside. He's got 2 waiting for a cross in the middle. Raul Jimenez, and he delayed it, and it was blocked by Van Dijk, and it went behind for a corner. He just had 1 touch too many, I think, Paul, in the end. He should have played it earlier.
Why doesn't he play it earlier? He's easily onside when he gets this ball. A lot of space here for Jimenez. It's clear that Pereira's waiting, and he just takes a touch, looks up, and then when he plays that ball across, I mean, Van Dijk's in the right place at the right time, but maybe he shouldn't have even had the chance to make that block.
I think Liverpool are going to have to accept there are going to be occasions like this when Fulham are going to break with an extra man, and they're just going to have to do their best to break up the play. Fulham have a second corner of the game here now, and will be taken by Andreas Pereira on the far side. 26 minutes on the clock. In it comes now towards the 6-yard box, well gathered by Alisson, under pressure from Sander Berg, and he bowls it out straight away to Luis Diaz on this left-hand side. He tries to go past Robinson. Was he blocked off? Referee says no. Nothing doing. Oh no, he does. He gives him a yellow card, Anthony Robinson. Well, I think Tony Harrington, barring the sending off for Robertson, which I have no complaints about whatsoever, I do think he's making a bit of a rod for his own back here with all these yellow cards.
Well, we'll see from this. I mean, it's a difficult one because that challenge there from Robinson, I wouldn't say it's a nailed-on yellow with every referee. I think that the issue is that because of the situation in the game, because of the fact that it's an away team player fouling a home team player with the home team down to 10 men, I think that probably did have a bit of an impact, because the crowd would have been furious there from the Liverpool side asking for a yellow card.
Yeah, I think it maybe will have done. I think the thing was that Diaz was seemingly running the ball out of play on this near side as Gravenberch plays the ball over the top. Luis Diaz inside the penalty area. Fulham claiming for a handball, and the referee is giving it. I thought they were looking for offside to start off with, but he clearly looked like he was the other side of Diop and onside. But I think he handles it as the ball comes out of the air. We're just watching it now. He does with his left arm. It wasn't necessarily intentional, but it did strike him on the arm.
It's not intentional, but then he gets such a benefit from it that it's better that the referee just blows for that straight away, because if Liverpool score, the VR will have to disallow that anyway. Any kind of handball, even if it's unintentional, is always going to rule out a goal-scoring chance. So it was the right decision, but certainly little glimmers. And Liverpool are going to have to try and play long balls, just like Fulham have done there. And it's a lovely, such a good chance there. A long ball played to Wilson, and then he made a mess of playing the ball into Jimenez, and it's an easy one for Alisson.
Yeah, final ball let Fulham down on more than one occasion so far to go 2-0 up in this game as Curtis Jones run the ball clear for Liverpool to Gomez. Now out to this left-hand side and Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk tries to thread a ball through, but he can't get it past Wilson, but it'll come straight back to the Liverpool skipper, and they'll build again with Soboslai. Now on to Curtis Jones. Gakpo on this left-hand side has Diaz ahead of him. Not a great deal of movement otherwise, so he just has to keep possession. No, of course, Alexis McAllister for Liverpool today. He's suspended. Picked up a 5th yellow card of the season at Newcastle and was going to miss the Everton game, but that was called off last week as Alexander-Arnold plays the ball in towards the penalty area. Tete uncomfortably heads it clear as far as Wilson, but he's still on the edge of his own area, hammers it left-footed downfield, and he can't find Jimenez, and it's going to drift out of play on this near side for a throw into Liverpool. It's a ball over the top. Just watching earlier on, just a couple of minutes ago for Wilson, he brought it down brilliantly, but then his second touch with the ball across to Jimenez let him down.
Yeah, it was a poor second touch there from Wilson, and Fulham can't afford to waste too many of these chances. They've had 3 or 4 opportunities as well as the goal to actually get a good ball into the box, and they've not taken them.
Arne Slot is out there in the technical area trying to pass instructions on to his Liverpool team, who's still not happy with how the sort of formation is at the moment since that Robertson sending off. Gomez, who had appeared at right back a minute ago, is now at left back and is taking this throw in on the halfway line. Not a great deal of movement again. He eventually goes back to Soboslai, who under pressure has to go all the way back to Alisson, and Alisson now will play it out to this left hand side and Curtis Jones. Liverpool players are going to need energy in abundance today with 10 men to get themselves back in this game as Gravenberch, that makeshift centre-half, plays it into Alexander-Arnold. Now Soboslai back to Van Dijk. Van Dijk strides forward and finds Gomez. Gomez is under serious pressure again from Wilson, so has to go back to Alisson just outside of his area. And he plays it short to Gravenberch. And again, Fulham as a team at the moment, Paul, I think are squeezing up really well.
They are. Fulham are a team that know how to hold on to a lead, and they've done the right things here against Liverpool. They're putting pressure on them high up the field. Wilson does well initially there just to win the ball back before he's dispossessed. But it's going to take something a bit special, or potentially a mistake, I think, from Fulham for Liverpool to get back into this game.
Here's Gravenberch in the centre circle. Plays it on now to Salah, who plays it further wide, trying to find Alexander-Arnold. It was intercepted. And here comes Iwobi on the break. Out wide to the left-hand side of Robinson. He's got Jimenez and Wilson up in support. Anthony Robinson down the left. Pulls it back to Harry Wilson. His little flick almost finds Pereira. Great block from Gomez, who flung himself at the ball. And Liverpool will run it clear with Soboslai. We'll come get Paul's thoughts out in a moment. But here come Liverpool away down the right-hand side with Salah. Just can't get to the ball before the centre-back Suenka, who knocks it out of play. But again, space is in behind down that left-hand side.
Yeah, and it's Pereira. He just little flick on there to Wilson. Wilson is a left footer. The ball's coming onto his right foot, so his effort is charged down. And Liverpool are able to clear it. And they're going forward now down the right-hand side. A ball in from Alexander-Arnold is headed clear by Diop.
But they do pick up the pieces. Here's Curtis Jones. Back to Alexander-Arnold again. Ball in towards the area. Headed again away by Diop. Meat and drink for the Fulham centre-half to get that clear. Been a goal at St James's Park, by the way. Newcastle lead Leicester by 1-0.
They do. Jacob Murphy with the goal there for Newcastle.
So Murphy putting Newcastle in front. In our featured game, of course, it was Pereira putting Fulham in front against 10-man Liverpool, who have had Andy Robertson sent off as Gravenberch plays the ball out to Alexander-Arnold down the right-hand side. Down the line to Salah. Back in field to Curtis Jones. And now back to Gravenberch again on halfway. These two teams met 4 times last season, twice in the league, and then a couple of times in the EFL Cup semi-finals when Liverpool came from behind in the league as well to win the game at Anfield. They're going to have to do that again today as the ball is played into the right-hand channel. Attempted cross in by Soboslai deep. It's going to reach Gakpo. His little nod down will get to Gomez on the edge of the Fulham box. Now into a central position in Curtis Jones. Jones thought about dinking it into the back post, but then has come back towards Gakpo on this left-hand side. Gakpo now comes in, plays a right-footed ball in. Diop in the right place at the right time again to header it clear. Jimenez was needed there, but he had it taken off him by Gravenberch. And Liverpool have it back and starting to build a bit of pressure for the first time in this game. It's with Gomez down the left. Good challenge comes in from Tete to win the ball back. And now there's a bit of pushing and pulling going on between Gomez and Tete. Tete not happy with Gomez's reaction. Just wonder whether this might be another yellow card being dished out by Tony Harrington.
Well, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, if he's going to be giving out all these cards, then he's going to be forced into giving out more, isn't he, for challenges like this? I mean, Tete arguably is probably holding on to Gomez more to start with, but then Gomez's reaction is probably a little bit more physical. I think possibly just a ticking off from the referee for both players might just be enough on this occasion. And I'm quite surprised by Slot's reaction there. I mean, obviously he's trying to equalise things for his team, but really, I mean, Tete probably starts the foul, but then the more aggressive approach there, I think, was from Gomez.
Yeah, I mean, I think he thinks that it should have been a foul in the first place, but certainly Gomez, just looking at the replay before, did brilliantly well a few moments ago to block Harry Wilson's shot. Gomez was overly physical in the end and probably quite fortunate to escape a yellow card as Diop takes this free kick. Plays it back towards his own goalkeeper, Leno. Is there a fear from a Fulham perspective, Paul, that they kind of go into the shell a little bit and think, well, we've got a lead, a man advantage, maybe don't have to attack as much as we were before?
Well, I think that's the reaction, I think, of all teams that are winning away from home against a much, fancied rival, that it's that difficult balance of don't sit back too deep and encourage the attacks, but if we go too far forward, then we could, do the same. We could end up encouraging the opposition to get too far forward. So I think so far Fulham are managing it quite well, but then I still think that even with Liverpool down to 10 men, we've not seen any kind of real attacking consistency from Liverpool in this game, and that has to come at some stage.
No, you would think they're going to create at least one opportunity in this first half. So far, Fulham have kept them at arm's length. They do have possession, Liverpool, now on the edge of their own penalty area with Virgil van Dijk, who strides forward, plays it short to Gravenberch on that right-hand side. He is now definitely the second centre-back, Ryan Gravenberch, with Gomez out to this left-hand side as full-back. And The aforementioned Gomez has the ball on the halfway line. Forward now towards Jones. Back to Gomez again. Liverpool patiently trying to build possession and an opening, as that's a great ball from Van Dijk out to the right-hand side, and Salah faced up by Robinson. Salah goes one way or the other. Salah inside the penalty area, overruns it, and thankfully from Robinson's point of view, well, Lukic was on hand to knock it behind for a corner. That's the first time we've seen Salah really run at the back line.
And it's taken 35 minutes for him, hasn't it? I mean, it really has taken a while for Salah to get any kind of opportunity to take this Fulham defence on. And it looks like it will be an out-swinging corner here from Alexander-Arnold.
It is indeed. Van Dijk, I'm sure, will be up from the back. Gakpo, Salah and Diaz are in there as well, as is Joe Gomez, of course, still looking for his first ever Liverpool goal. Van Dijk around about the penalty spot. Szoboszlai just behind him as well. Delivery from Alexander-Arnold comes in now, and it's a deep one to the back post, and there's not anybody in a red jersey there, so Jimenez will pick up the pieces and try and burst forward. Szoboszlai doesn't know whether to go to him or drop back, and in the end it's played to Iwobi. Iwobi plays a first-time ball over the top. Wasn't a bad idea, but Alisson had read it, came out of his goal to get there ahead of Pereira, and Liverpool will build again from the back with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Down the line he goes towards Salah, who goes past Robinson again. Salah plays it in towards Diaz, and he gives it away, unfortunately, from Liverpool's point of view to Sander Berg, who mops up, and now Fulham can look to hit on the break as well. Jimenez down the right-hand side. Back it goes towards Tete, and just for the moment they'll keep possession. But it's almost like somebody's flicked a switch on Mo Salah.
Yeah, well, it's almost like, as you say, he's woken up and realised that he needs to be a big part of Liverpool getting back into this game. Such a shame that last move, the pass was just a yard or two behind Diaz, so he couldn't run onto it and do anything with it. But straight away now, as Fulham are playing out from the back, Liverpool are pressing higher. They're trying to draw mistakes, and it looks like the throw has gone Fulham's way in the end. But you can see that Liverpool are just starting to sort of grow into the game a little bit more.
Yeah, Marco Silva was about to have a heart attack if that hadn't have been given his way. He was up on the touchline, waving his arms around, appealing for the throw-in, and it's gone the way of Fulham now. Kenny Tete will take this throw-in.
Yeah, Tim Robinson, our fourth official, is earning his money this afternoon, isn't he? I think trying to keep a very fiery Marco Silva calm and a very frustrated Arne Slot as well.
Tell you what, Ryan Gravenberch was high with a foot there on Pereira, and I think quite rightly Tony Harrington's decided that's a free kick. No yellow card though for Gravenberch. We have already had a red card for Robertson, a yellow card for Diaz, a yellow card for Pereira and Robinson and Diop as well. So it's been a busy old afternoon so far for Tony Harrington, and you sense that it's probably only going to get worse between now and then at the end of the game, as Robinson does well to cut in and play it down the left-hand side for Iwobi. Iwobi's away here in plenty of room. Can he deliver? Oh, he pulls it behind everybody straight into the path of Cody Gakpo, which enables Liverpool now to break. A long diagonal raking ball from Alexander-Arnold. It was the right idea, just couldn't reach Luis Diaz. Tete intercepted, and now Fulham are away again. It's so open. Iwobi down the left-hand side, cuts in inside the penalty area. Iwobi on his right foot, shot is blocked by Alexander-Arnold, and Liverpool should mop it up and do, but it's almost like a game of basketball at the moment, Paul.
Oh, it is. I mean, the amount of attacking chances that Fulham are getting, but they're wasting them so many times. The previous one from Iwobi wasn't the right ball into the box. This time he decides to go for goal himself. Probably the wrong, because he was always being blocked in front of goal, and the effort was eventually charged down.
Great ball from Szoboszlai over the top. It's going to reach Mo Salah. Salah tries to beat Robinson inside the area. Robinson's helped out by Suenka, who clears the ball out of play on the far side for a Liverpool throw-in. We've played 38 minutes, and you sense that Liverpool are just stepping up another gear now at the moment and trying to cause Fulham some problems from a defensive point of view, as Curtis Jones is fouled, says the referee, by Lukic, and it will be a free kick to Liverpool about 40 yards from goal over on the right-hand side. And because they're down to 10 men, they're probably going to have to load the box more than usual, Paul.
They are, but we're still one thought towards what Fulham could do if they don't get something from this free kick. Of course, they can't send everybody forward, but it's one of those where Fulham can still set up quite a long way from goal with their offside, so it's got to be timed just right between Alexander-Arnold taking the free kick and his teammates actually moving towards it.
Free kick to be taken then by Trent Alexander-Arnold on that right-hand side, and in-swing it in towards the area. Heads go up, and I think it was Van Dijk who got the last touch, but it was gathered by Leno, pretty comfortably moving to his right-hand side.
Well, that's the first save he's had to make in the game, Bernd Leno. And it's taken 39 minutes. I bet nobody had that on their bingo card today. That Bernd Leno makes the first save in the game after 39 minutes. Of course, a lot's happened before that time, but it's just showing that Fulham have weathered the storm here very well. And Liverpool, although they are starting to turn it up a little bit, Fulham are still coping with it by and large.
Replay shows it was actually Gakpo who got the touch in the end ahead of Van Dijk. But as Paul said there, pretty comfortable in the end for Bernd Leno. Didn't really have to move very far indeed to collect it. It's a bit of a scramble on the halfway line here, and it's a free kick. It's going to go in favour, it would appear, of Liverpool.
I think Jimenez it was just a short ball between him and Wilson, but he was offside.
Yeah, just about. I wonder whether they were giving it for him getting the ball stuck between his legs for a moment, but he was actually strayed into an offside position. Elsewhere, by the way, still Arsenal 0, Everton 0 at the Emirates. Newcastle 1, Leicester 0, and Wolves 0, Ipswich 1. As Liverpool have possession down the right-hand side here with Mo Salah. Takes on Robinson again. Salah really strong, holds off the American and keeps going towards the byline. Now pulls it back to the edge of the box. Szoboszlai's ball in, and somehow Luis Diaz heads it over the bar from 6 yards out. Fulham half claiming that he was in an offside position anyway, but not entirely sure how it's gone over the bar. It would have been a very close call.
It would have been I don't think he is offside. I said that the VAR would have checked it, but when Salah lays this ball off, lovely little sweeping ball in there from Jones, and he's got to do better there, Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
As I say, if Nunez was starting ahead of him today, we're always saying, oh, well, that's one that Diaz probably wouldn't miss. So he's got to make sure he takes them as well.
I think he got up a little bit too early. He was trying to hang in the air, and he was on his way down when he eventually headed it. As Curtis Jones wins this latest header in the middle of the park, and Szoboszlai does well to lay it off to Salah. Now with Alexander-Arnold, he switches the play to this near side, and Diaz, who brings it down well. Gomez on the overlap. Diaz ignores him for the time being, comes in field and finds Curtis Jones, and Jones now back to Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool have settled down a little bit after that mad opening 20 minutes, but they are, of course, a man down and a goal down with, well, I would say around about 4 minutes of normal time, plus probably 5 or 6 minutes of added on time at the end of this first half. Alexander-Arnold plays it back to Gravenberch inside the centre circle, on towards Van Dijk. Back to Gravenberch again. A huge amount of movement ahead of him. Plays it short to Alexander-Arnold, and now he finds Gomez in space. And further wide it goes now to Gakpo, who thinks about having a run at Harry Wilson. Plays it to Gomez. Can he keep it in play? He can't. It was a decent idea from Gakpo, but he just put too much pace on the ball.
He does, yeah. It's not much. I mean, Gomez isn't a natural left back, but that's not really his fault in terms of that. That was just overhit from Gakpo. He's timed his run just right there, Gomez. Well, maybe he could have got there a step or two quicker, but as I say, these are things that Liverpool weren't even doing 15, 20 minutes ago. Yeah. So you've got to say it is an improvement, but it's maybe just coming a little bit too late to do something in this first half.
Yeah, at the moment, though, it remains Liverpool 0, Fulham 1 in this unofficial off-tube studio commentary, as the ball is back now with Curtis Jones. In it goes to Alexander-Arnold, forward to Szoboszlai. It wasn't a great layoff from the Hungarian, and it was cleared away by Lukic. But Liverpool pick up the pieces again, and this is happening more and more often now, where these 50-50 balls in the middle of the park are being won by the men in red, as Gravenberch has it inside the centre circle. Needs somebody to make a move for him. He tries to find Salah. It wasn't a great ball, and Salah couldn't quite take it on board, and Fulham have it back. Played out wide by Lukic towards Iwobi. Iwobi turns away from 2 Liverpool players and does well to keep possession and find Diop. Diop now into Harry Wilson. Under pressure, goes backwards. Liverpool trying to squeeze up as best they can, but with a man less, makes it that little bit easier for Fulham to try and find a way out. Iwobi, who, I have to say, Paul, did question a couple of years ago how he was still playing the Premier League. He's been outstanding when I've seen him this season.
He has been. I say it's almost like because he was a jack of all trades at Everton, and he literally was. I mean, I think he was only sort of centre back and in goal that he didn't play for the top. He was pretty much everywhere else at some stage. Whereas he's come to Fulham and he's gone back to his natural positions of playing somewhere in the attacking midfield 3, and he just seems to have found his form again.
He does. Here come Liverpool. Meanwhile, ball played through the middle. Attempted pass was from Alexander-Arnold to the runner Gakpo, but it was well read by Diop, and Fulham have it back on halfway with Pereira. Pereira now back towards Tete. He tries to play it down the line. Jimenez had strayed offside, so he had to leave it alone, and it goes all the way through to Alisson.
It does. You can see Arne Slot just beckoning his players to get forward. I mean, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that dressing room at half-time, because it's been a very rare thing for Liverpool to be under pressure this season, so Slot's really got to think about it now.
Here's Gakpo coming in from the left-hand side. Back he goes towards Gomez. Gomez plays a ball in towards the middle, and it was looking for Soboslai, but it was over his head, and it just drifts behind for a goal kick. And just make you think, wonder what Arne Slot might do at half-time in terms of making changes. I mean, from an attacking point of view, of course, Núñez stands out, but Chiesa and Jota are now back to full fitness. Harvey Elliott's another one who, former Fulham man, gets a bit of grief when he's at Craven Cottage, but he's done pretty well against them when he's played before.
He has, and you mentioned the Chiesa, of course. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, he was one of Europe's hot properties, wasn't he? He had a superb, the Euros, the ones just after COVID, which were all over Europe with the finals in England, and it's such a shame for him that he's not been able to rediscover that. But if he can, of course, get a bit of that form, that would be great news for Liverpool, and they're on the attacking now with Salah.
Here's Salah on the edge of the penalty area, still going inside the box. Robinson gets a foot in, it'll go behind for a corner. You feel these are big opportunities for Liverpool when they get set pieces in and around the Fulham penalty area.
It is. They've not had enough of them, have they? They've not had enough free kicks or corners to really put this Fulham defence under pressure. But we're into injury time now, and we'll see Mr. Robinson, our fourth official, confirm. We thought it was going to be out 4 or 5. It's actually going to be 6 minutes.
6 minutes of added on time then at the end of this first half, and Trent Alexander-Arnold will take this corner kick on the far side. Again, Van Dijk is up from the back. Gakpo, Diaz and Salah in there as well. What's the delivery going to be like? It's a ball to the near post, headed away well on this occasion. In fact, the ball, I think, has gone out of play and come back in, and it's going to be a goal kick. Trent Alexander-Arnold looks at the official on the far side and questions it, but he believes that it did go out and back in, and it will be a bit more relief for Fulham.
Well, we'll see whether the officials got this right. We'll get an aerial view here. Yeah, I think he is probably right. The ball does. I mean, it's always going to be an issue if you're sending in an outswinger. Then you have to make sure that it sort of starts on the line and then swings away from goal. It can't obviously swing out and then swing back in, because the linesman will spot that, and he does on that occasion. Yeah,
he does. He's keeping a close eye on it, the official on the far side, as Iwobi goes down under the challenge of Alexander-Arnold. Referee says play on as the Liverpool man launches it downfield. Across quickly with Suenka to nod the ball out of play for a Liverpool throw-in midway inside the Fulham half. It's with Alexander-Arnold. Back it goes to Gravenberch. Now with Van Dijk inside the centre circle. Van Dijk back to Alexander-Arnold, who's pretty much in line with the Dutchman. And now he hoists the ball over the top. The chase is on for Soboslai. He'll get there. Does well to turn away from Lukic. Comes back towards Salah. Salah now on to Jones. And in turn he finds Gomez. Back to Curtis Jones again. Curtis Jones dinks the ball over the top towards Salah. Robinson gets ahead on it. Salah tries to hit the volley and the rebound, but it's hooked clear by Lukic. Still not completely clear as Soboslai on that far side battles with Iwobi. And, well, he did well originally to win the ball, but he's played it into the path of Pereira. And now Fulham are on the break. Pereira plays a switch ball towards Jimenez. Gravenberch fell, but still managed to intercept with his chest as on his way down. And Liverpool maintain possession. Half-time at the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Everton 0, and Newcastle at half-time now lead Leicester by 1-0. It's with Curtis Jones on halfway. We've had 2 of the 6 minutes of added on time that we're going to have at the end of this first half. Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. Diaz on the left-hand side, in towards Gomez. Back to Diaz again. Gomez again has possession, 40 yards from the Fulham goal, in towards Diaz. He's got Salah screaming for the ball on the far side. Instead he plays it short towards Gravenberch. Now on to Alexander-Arnold, and now to Salah, up and close and personal with Robinson. Salah comes across the field and tries to find a pass. He's given it away again though to Wilson, but all he can do is launch it downfield and straight towards Alisson. You know, as good as it's been for Fulham in this first half, I think Marco Silva would still be, we could do things a lot better and try and kill this game off.
I think so. I think he'll be a little bit concerned that his side seems to have sort of naturally just tailed off in the last 10 to 15 minutes, giving Liverpool more encouragement to get forward.
Here's Gakpo cutting in from the left on his right foot. Finds Gomez. And now Alexander-Arnold does well to turn round under pressure and find Gravenberch. Back to Alexander-Arnold again in the central midfield role for the moment. Back to Gravenberch. Gravenberch will find Van Dijk. Have we got time for at least one more chance for either team before half-time? Certainly Liverpool having the lion's share of possession in the last sort of 10 or 15 minutes. Here's Gravenberch now, striding forward, finds Curtis Jones out wide to Gakpo. Red jersey's waiting for a cross in the middle. Gakpo deep to the back post. Leno comes and gathers it really well above his defender's head. And there must have been a clear shout because Robinson got out the way.
He did get out the way. It was a comfortable save for the goalkeeper, but again, better from Liverpool. A bit more urgent down the left-hand side, and a better ball, but probably still a little bit too close to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he tried to swing it in, but started it probably a little bit too straight, Cody Gakpo. as Kenny Tete has possession again for Fulham. Goes back to Diop. Liverpool trying to squeeze out, and that's a wasted ball in the end from Suenka, who just launches it long downfield. Just seeing pictures of Kostas Tsimikas, who's out injured at the moment, so it leaves Liverpool with some problems at left back, of course, with Andy Robertson now facing his suspension. As Alexander-Arnold now plays a ball over the top down the right-hand side. Robinson does well to beat Salah to it, and Iwobi now looks to break over halfway. Robinson's got on the overlap. Alexander-Arnold's having to hold him up. Here's Robinson to get to the byline, pulls the ball back, and then the attempted half volley is difficult from Wilson, goes over the bar. Very hard when that bounces just in front of you.
It would have been one of the goals of his career, I think, if he was able to keep that low and get it on target. It bounces just in front of him, as you say. But again, it's a good breakout from Fulham. They have that space down the left. And yeah, just a bit unlucky with the cutback, but it was, again, Liverpool, after a good strong spell in this half, just allowed Fulham to get forward again.
Soboslai, ball over the top looking for Salah. Bit of confusion there between Suenka and Robinson, but they get away with it, and Fulham have possession with Wilson out wide to Iwobi. Wilson goes on the overlap, just got a touch on it, Gravenberch, but Wilson will pick up the pieces, and then back there was Alexander-Arnold, who dwelt on it slightly. In fact, it was Soboslai in the end who was fouled by Andreas Pereira, says the referee. I think that's quite fortunate in terms of Soboslai, because he tried to bring the ball down inside the area. Yeah, I suppose there was a little bit of a nudge in the back.
There is a little bit of a nudge, but if Soboslai did that to Pereira, it wouldn't be a penalty to Fulham, would it? It's one of those where the defender's going to get the decision there for a little bit of contact, but it's not enough really to go the other way for the attacking team. But it's more warnings for Liverpool at the end of this half.
It is, and they remain 1-0 down going into the final few seconds of this first half. Arne Slot has got a lot to do at the half-time break if he's going to get Liverpool back in this. They're a goal behind and a man down, and Van Dijk has the ball, but Tony Harrington won't allow any further action. The goal coming on 11 minutes from Andreas Pereira. A volley hit Andy Robinson on his way into the net, and then 5 minutes later Robinson was sent off for a foul on Harry Wilson. At half-time then, it's Liverpool 0, Fulham 1.